Hey guys, welcome back to Broke Overland. My name is Chad, and yes, we have our poopy suit on because today we are going to be servicing our air dryer. So we've got our desiccant kit revival or kit desiccant repair kit, which has got all the good stuff in it that we need to service our air dryer. It has all of our O-rings, the filtre, our new desiccant, O-ring lube, and most importantly, an actual manual for how to do this. So we're going to go step by step through this process. It's fairly easy. Let's just jump into it. Here's the tools you're going to need for today. Haldex air dryer kit, 3/8 socket, 3/8 inch-pound torque wrench, 1/2 inch foot-pound torque wrench, a 5/8 wrench, 9/16 wrench, 1-inch wrench, 5/16 wrench. You're going to need a 1-inch socket, a 1/2 inch socket, a 3/8 socket, and a, 5/16 socket. A pick. You're going to need a nut with a 1-inch outside diameter. You're going to need a bolt with a 1/2 inch head. Probably want a pair of vice grips, 1.5 inch wrench or a big crescent wrench. A couple of dead blows are always good, and honorable mention, needle nose vice grips. So here is the kit part number for the desiccant filter. There's some barcodes and part number there. So hopefully you can get the numbers off of that. But anyways, let's get going. Step number 1, drain all your tanks so that there is nothing left in the system. Okay, so these pure air dryers can be serviced either from the top or from the bottom. You need clearance at the top, which we do not have, so we're just going to service it from the bottom. After purging all the air, we're going to take our heater line, power line off. There we go. Then we'll take a 9/16 wrench and a 1/2 inch wrench to hold the thing, and we'll remove our air line, our purge air line. There. So now we got a new battery and new memory card, and so we're going to finish removing the purge air line. Okay, took a little gentle persuasion with the wiggling, and we got it out. So now we're going to remove the 1/2 inch nuts, and we're going to pull the bottom cover off. Just for grins, this has already got a mark here, so we're going to mark this here just so I don't have to remember which way this thing lines up. Okay, it is slowly but surely coming loose. There we go. Alrighty. Doesn't look too bad in there, actually. All right, well, follow the instructions. We've removed the purge valve cover, so we can go ahead and remove the 3 5/16 nuts from the purge valve. All right, knocked a little bit of the cruft off of there. A little crack in there. So I don't think we have a replacement for that. We're going to have to reuse this guy. We've got this off. Got a 1-inch OD nut. Sits down in there. It's already kind of chowdered up a little bit, so somebody's obviously been servicing this thing. Oh, there we go. That popped loose. And got a little goop in there. So we got to get the center bolt out of the purge valve, and to do that we're going to jam a 3/8 nut, or 3/8 wrench, or 3/8 bolt on the back of this thing, and then pop it loose with the, there we go. And this thing is spring-a-thinged in there, so gentle carefuling. So now I can take the purge valve seat out, and that's how that comes apart. All right, let's go clean all this up and get these 2 O-rings out of here. So this one and this one, because we have, or sorry, this O-ring and this O-ring. We've got replacements for that, as well as the O-ring for the valve body, or for the bottom cover plate. So I'm going to go ahead and lube these guys up. Check them for any tears. And that one's got some grit. That's okay. That's what our pants are for. I can just stick these back together. We've cleaned our body. Set that on there. Put our O-ring on there. There we go. Okay. Now we can put our duplicate through like so. Put our valve seat facing the right way, theoretically. Our screw in. And this is just a plastic piece, so you don't want to crank it down, torque the ever-living piss out of it. Start with 50. Go to 60. Okay, and to 65. Okay. Now we can put our other O-ring on here. Lube it up just a little bit. Now put it back in our assembly. Belt seats. So I'm just going to snug it up with the wrench, and then I'll grab a socket so that we can torque it to spec. We're going to do this in the most comedic way we can possibly do it. I'm going to stick it between my legs, and I'm going to use my torque wrench, the lowest setting, which is 40, because you want this thing 35 to 50 foot-pounds. There we go. So there we're at 40. All right, so now we'll probably give this a little bit of a, it's already hosed, so we'll just leave it alone. How about that? And we're gonna torque the 3 screws to 30 to 50 inch-pounds. So we're gonna torque these to 40 inch-pounds. And we'll set this aside and continue with the rest of it. We got to remove this whole assembly, but from what I understand is we can remove this bolt and remove the filter. Put said bolt back in a little bit. Be careful not to cross thread because this is all plastic. And then grab it with a pair of vice grips and give it a gentle tug. Oh, there we go. Holy smokes, that came out hard. And there's a spring of a thing up in here. Let's pop him out so we don't lose him. All right, so we got our tube. So, I'm gonna remove the follower. There we go. Remove the desiccant bag. Okay, so now we gotta get this part out of the exterior sleeve. So I'm just going to stick it in my legs and see if I can't tap it out of there. Tap it. And there we go. Now we'll take this O-ring off of here and replace it and clean it up and reassemble. One sec. There. We hit record this time. Okay, we've got our cylinder all cleaned up. We've got our exterior cylinder all cleaned up. Just going to put our new air filter in with our follower, and then we are going to tighten it to 60 to 90 inch-pounds. So we're just going to tighten it. Since this is like ancient ABS from 20 years ago, we're just going to kind of go slow. So we'll go down to finger tight, and then we'll go to 50 inch-pounds, and then 60 and 65, 70, that kind of stuff. 50, 60, 70. Now we'll grab a new O-ring and some lube. Drop that in. There we go. All right, now we'll install a new deskit bag. Give it a shake, get it down in there, and we'll follow. So I'm going to look for another one of these keepers, or these followers, just because this one's starting to crack up, come apart, but I mean, it brushed up, cleaned up nicely, so it doesn't seem to be falling apart too bad. And now we stick intermediate cylinder on. I'm just going to lube the end of this real quick, just because I want it to slide over and not pinch that O-ring. I wonder if it would be easier just to frickin' stick this between my legs and squeeze it like this. Okay, that works a little bit better. Okay, now we just set this aside and continue on to the top part. Now, to service the top one, we are going to have to get in here with a number 1 wrench and try not to break this thing off. There we go. Switch from the pipe wrench to a regular 1-inch wrench so I don't end up driving myself insane here.
Oh wow, you can actually see light through the braided hose. That's a trip. Never knew that.
And then we'll get to the feed line back here. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's not very tight, which is fine. There we go. Slide the nut back over it so it doesn't get jacked up. Okay, there we go. Now we remove the 6 bolts like we did with the bottom one. There are 6 nuts, 1/2-inch nuts. Okay, now we just tap the lid off. There we go. All right, pull that out of the way. All right, so let's pull these 2 O-rings. All right, so there's a bigger one and a medium one, and then a smaller one. So this is the one that grabs a hold of our canister. Okay, so I need 1.5 inches for that one. Okay, well I can definitely see why they say leave this thing attached to your air dryer to get this 1.5 inch nut off, because there's an O-ring and a gasket underneath there. But I have stuck this thing in the vise and reefed the crap out of it, and whoever torqued this before I got here has more gorilla strength than I do. Well, let's try putting it on the bottom and then maybe get a wrench on there and see if we can't get her loose. We just stuck it on the bottom, cinched it up with a couple of bolts. And we're gonna there we go. All right, cool. And while we're down here, might as well clean the inside of that guy out. All right, let's get this guy out of here. There's that O-ring, and there's that disc, and the spring thing that we want to replace. Okay. All right, we'll just clean that up, set it aside so that it will be lost forever. Okay, we got this all cleaned up. So now let's go ahead and put our lubricated O-rings on here. So this guy goes shmeaw. One more that goes down in here. Drops down in there. Lubed up all of our bits and bobs here. Add our spring thing here. Put this guy metal side towards the rest of the world. There we go. All right, O-ring is even seating. Okay, now we got to get it back on the truck and get this lined up that way. Put this in like that. There we go. Yeah, that lines up. There we go. Just torque it down until you feel like you're gonna throw up. Okay, let's get these lubed and back on. One's bigger than the other, so this one goes on the inside. There we go. All right. Just want to make sure that we're not seating funny. So let's install the top cover and put the 6 bolts on. Okay, so let's get some bolts on there and we'll snug it up so it all comes down in one piece. Okay, so now 1/2 inch. We will torque all of them to between 100 and 150 inch-pounds. Okay, let's reassemble our hoses. Get you in nice and straight. Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's see if we can. Springs in there. Slide this guy up in there. Okay. Now. Okay, we had to switch over to the iPhone. And now we're just checking. Ran it up to 100 psi. So now we're just checking all of the fittings to make sure we don't have any leaks. All right, no leaks. Let's check around the seal. No. Okay. Good. Okay, well, we're good there. So let's fire it back up and run her all the way up until it blows off. Okay, now that the rain has started, I'm glad we got this air dryer done. So huge shout out to Robert for giving me the kit. I'm highly appreciative. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. So go ahead and click that little subscribe button down there. And I don't know if this needs to be said, but it kind of feels like it needs to be said. I am not a professional. This is not professional how-to video. This is mostly for entertainment. If you've accidentally learned something, that's not my fault. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you in the next one. This is one nice thing about having a steel box is you can just use magnets to hold your instructions up.